Okay, let me bring a terminal and then we'll try from there. Cool. So I'm here on the release CLI. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. So I think I just pull. Let me just make sure again. Yeah. Cool. So the CLI itself is actually fairly simple to run. What I normally do is just call make, and this should build it. You can see here basically removes whatever we have before. And then it just gets the dependencies and builds it. And yeah, it builds this command on the cmd/release CLI. Let me bring in my editor as well. Hold on. Cool. Yeah, so here on the right side, I have the command, and you can see it's this release CLI. It's fairly simple in terms of code. All it does is initializes the app, and it has some logging in there. We use this app, so I'll walk you through the code for the first part of the code. I guess it's not too complicated. We use this your fave CLI package, which basically give us like an interface to interact with the CLI. Is the same that the runner uses, so it's the output is very similar. So basically, when I build it, I can just call this binary here, and I can just call help, and it should give me the output for it. And this is basically the two commands that we have is create and get, and then a few of the global options that you can configure. So, for example, if I wanted to run and get a release right now, I can do this. I just need to do server URL. Let's try with GitLab.com. Project ID. I just need to get an ID from one of my projects. I think I have one. This one, maybe. Yep. Hello. And I should have some releases in here. Yep. Cool. I'll get a tag. This one. And then, okay, so I set the server. We need a job token or a private token. So you see there's two options here. The job token only works with the CI job token. So here you just need to use private token. And just use one of the API tokens. I think I have that one there. And then you can configure things like the timeout if you want to. I think the default is 30 seconds, so it should be enough. Then this other flag is the CA cert bundle. If you're using like custom certificates or self-signed certificates, you can find them there. If you want to skip the HTTPS verification, and if you want to debug, actually Etienne recently added this debug flag, so we can see a bit more in there. And then the way this your fave CLI thing works, you need to specify the global options first, and then you need to specify a command. So in this case, I can say get, and then we can do help to get the help for the get command. I guess I missed something. Incorrect usage.
It's help get, I guess.
Oh, project. Oh, I mistyped project ID. There's a typo here. Yeah, so all the global options, and then we do get, and I want to get the help for get. Yeah, Cool. So it's down here. Basically, the options for get is the tag name. This is a required option. And then if you want to include the description as HTML, you just set this flag when getting a release. So if I just replace help with tag name, and then I give it, sorry, this one. Sorry. Wanted to copy the tag from here. Yep, tag name. Can you see my screen or is it too small?
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, cool. So I'm just passing the tag name here, and this should give me back the list of the release.
right now you can get it only by the tag name, right? No, not by ID, or you can get it by ID.
Not by ID, only by tag name, because this is basically a proxy to the releases API.
Yeah, and it uses tags. Okay.
Yeah, and it uses tags in here. So get a release by tag name. Yeah, it's basically making this API call.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you see, because I passed the debug flag in here, we can see some information like the request that we send, and then the response that we're getting back from the server, and then the JSON object for the release in here. If I remove the debug flag, it should only give me the JSON, so I can just parse it with JQ, for example, and then I get the release information in here.
Nice.
Yeah, that's basically for getting a release. This is the easiest command. The one for create needs a bit more information, so we can use the help here. I think at a minimum, you need to specify the name.
And the reference. Oh, tag name.
Sorry, the tag name and the reference. Yes, yeah. Those are the minimum two things that we need. So I can just say tag name as today, whatever, and a ref. I think I can just say master.
Master,
yeah. It should work. Let's try this. Yeah, release created successfully with this tag. Yeah, and it just gives you a bit of information. So if I call,
it doesn't print the JSON object?
Not when you create one.
Okay.
Yeah, so that could be.
That API returns it, right?
Yeah, it does, but we parse the response, and then we just print it like this, like a bit prettier.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it could be an improvement that can be done there. And if I just go test today, it should give me the latest release. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see.
And this should be reflected in the UI as well. Test today, yeah. So yeah, that's basically what the release CLI does. If you want to work with the CLI by itself, so that's how it works. If you want to use it in CI, you just need to make sure that whatever machine is running your job has access to the release CLI. So the best option is to have the release CLI image and run it as in a Docker runner, and then it does the thing by itself. And the release keyword, I have some here.
Yeah, I actually know a bit how it works. On site, so.
Oh, so yeah. So if you know how that works, then yeah, we can maybe skip it. Just a real quick to show you. There's a release keyword, and then you basically specify the same things.
Yeah, but I think the way I understand it is just a syntax sugar for it basically creates a script for you, which runs the same release CLI with all these parameters.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a one-to-one relationship with these parameters on the CI template.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So that's basically how I run it. anytime you make a change, you can just call make or make build. That should get the latest changes. And then to run tests, I can just call make tests.
Why it's underscore test? Oh, I see. I looked at the wrong place.
Yeah, it's called make test, but then underneath it all, it calls this underscore test because there's a couple of modifiers. It's more like a function kind of thing, and then you just pass whatever parameters you want.
Is there a way to test it like in a short way, so I don't see every test being run, but only summary and only failed tests?
Maybe, I don't remember if I added this.
I mean, in Pages, I just run the go test like /dot, and it tests everything and just prints the.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. You can do the same go test like this. That's probably easier. Yeah.
Okay.
So make test is just give you like a lot more information, but yeah, it's the same as Pages.
Okay.
And then,
so
yeah, do you want to see the Docker file or how that works and stuff?
Yeah, if possible.
Yeah, so we build this in CI for the image that gets pushed. So here in the build scripts, there should be one that calls Nico. Yeah. So we use this Docker image to build. It's basically like a Docker in Docker builder that allows you to build Docker images. And this guy, well, I don't use this locally. I think I can just call Docker build here, Docker build. Then you need to give it the file, or you can just pass the context. Yeah. We can tag it. So as I say, test release CLI, and then the path. Docker build. Sorry, I think it's just -t. Yep. I might need to restart my thing.
So we now use Rancher instead of the Docker desktop, right?
Yeah, because of the licensing issue.
Yeah.
It's a bit painful.
Why?
This Rancher sometimes doesn't work. Like I just need to restart it for some reason. It uses like a Lima virtual machine underneath, and then it runs Docker inside the virtual machine, so it exposes like the interface to your Mac, and then it just like sometimes doesn't work.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Let me see. Like restarting sometimes does a trick. And it also, this one runs a Kubernetes cluster in your local machine, and sometimes you don't need all that. So, yeah.
Can you disable it?
The cluster, I don't know. I haven't played with it.
Okay. Yeah, I never used it before, so guess we'll need to find out how it works.
Yeah. It should take a while, but
oh, yeah, I see.
Basically, once this is built, in theory, you can just do Docker run, and then you can you need to pass like the current environment or where the project where you're running from. So I normally do here, and then to whatever you want to do. So go add.
What it does, it's mounting the volume, or?
Yeah, so -v is a volume, and it's telling it, okay, mount my current directory into the containers, into this containers directory.
Okay.
And then you need to tell it, okay, my working directory is going to be go app.
So it's just to switch into it immediately.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
And then in here, you can just say Docker run. You need to pass the image name. So because I tagged it as this release-cli, test release-cli here, and then you can just pass the commands in here, release-cli help, for example. So in theory, this should work once my Docker is running. Yeah, let me build it again. Docker build.
Is there a way to do like build and run in single command?
No, you need to build it and then run it. You need to build it with a tag and then run it.
Okay, if I build it multiple times with the same tag, it will replace it? Or?
It should replace it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to create a new tag all the time. Oh, this might take a while because it's downloading that Go image.
Wow.
Yeah, and my 4G is only not very fast.
Oh yeah, I see. By the way, where the cache for the Docker lives, is it on your local machine or on this strange virtual machine in Rancher? Basically, I'm asking like
It's in the
if you
virtual
restart,
machine.
so every time you restart the Rancher, if you try to rebuild anything, it will download everything from scratch, right?
You should keep the images. No, you should keep the images in the virtual machine because it doesn't delete the machine when you stop it. It should only stop the machine. Yeah, but I think I haven't downloaded this Go image, so that's why it's taking a bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah. In the meantime, I don't know if you had questions about the code. Do you want me to walk through it, or are you happy with just exploring?
I looked at it before a bit, but not recently. I don't know if there are anything interesting about the code. You can, while we're waiting, you can just show me.
Yeah. So I'll give you a quick overview. The main package basically just calls this app new, and this creates this your fave CLI instance, and it gives it a few commands or a few configurations. So if you want to modify the help text, for example, you can do so by defining some of the functions in here, and then you just basically pass however many commands you want to add. So if in the future you wanted to add an update, for example, you will need to implement the command here and then just pass it from here. This list of commands are defined in this package, in the commands package. So there's one create and then there's one get. And then each subcommand, you can define like the different flags that it needs. So it's pretty straightforward, really. How to, if you wanted to add or modify any of the flags, you would go in here. And then each command, you pass it an action. And then this action function is gonna do whatever you tell it. So this will call the create release, and then it's just gonna do some parsing and validations and stuff. And we create a GitLab client, which is basically the one that is going to talk to the API. So the GitLab client is defined here. And it's a simple HTTP client that, you know, it attaches the token if it's there, the project ID, blah, blah, blah. And it sets the correct headers and it makes requests to whatever you ask it to. So yeah, it's pretty simple. basically when we get the output from the release, we just print it. So the pretty version I showed you is done by this function. Instead of printing the full JSON, we just print some information about it. And that's pretty much it. For the get command, it's very similar. It gets the release, and this one actually prints. So it creates a JSON encoder and then encodes the release object in JSON format. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a bunch of tests everywhere. So that probably makes the code a bit bigger than what it is.
Yeah, what's the red lines on the console? Just something was printed to us today.
No, this is actually just, I think it's because we're building the Docker client building the image, and it just prints this in different color for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, because
basically
everything
is successful, right?
Yeah, everything was successful. You can see here, successfully tagged here. And then if I do Docker images, CLI, it's here. This is the tag. And this is the SHA that is generated as well. So it should match always. So if we call Docker run now, yeah, we're mounting the directory into here. We're just saying work from this directory. And then like this should in theory help. Yep, this worked. So basically it's just printing their help from inside the container.
Okay, and if I recall correctly, I can just get an interactive terminal into this, right?
Yep.
Something
yeah, so
like
you could do that by doing bash and then just saying -ti, I think. Bash is not, maybe sh. Yeah. So yeah, basically this is the same output as my working directory outside of here. So, whoop, sorry. And then the release CLI, when we build the image, we expose the release CLI binary and we put it in here.
Yeah, I saw this in the Docker build.
Yeah, so if I just call it from here, it's the same. Yeah. And in theory, we should be able to call the API as well, but I don't have my environment variables. Anyway, yeah, you should be able to just make calls from the inside.
Yeah, I see.
The only thing to be aware of is if you make changes to the code, you will need to rebuild the Docker image. But it shouldn't take too long.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll add a couple of make comments to kind of automate all of this and make it like a single command to just run an interactive terminal and or just run the release CLI. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks so much for showing this. I probably stopped the recording.